Hello everyone, my name is Pris from Pris Peruses and welcome to another video. Today I am giving you my October wrap up. I read so many books in October. This was the result of me just giving zero fucks and reading whatever I want to read. Now my own readathon Wacky Witches did help because I read definitely most books in that week. But in total I read 23 books. Can you believe it? I mean, it's just fantastic. It's been my best reading month of the year so far. October is just my favorite reading month in general. All the spookiness, the Halloween vibes, the witchy vibes. I am here for it. So we have a lot of books to talk about. There are some series as well, so I would like to get through those a little bit quicker, but nonetheless we have a lot of books to talk about, so let's just dive on in, shall we? The first book I read I'm laughing already, this is going to be hilarious. The first book I read during the month of October was The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This was so bad. I cannot even tell you. I have no words for this. This was so bad. And I'm really sad because I normally really like Riley Sager's books, but this was his newest one and it's absolutely fucking trash. Like, no, 1 star. This was not it. No. I had my doubts about this throughout the entire book, but when I read the ending, I was like, fuck me. Like, no. What I normally like about Riley Sager's books, this was the opposite of it. So I hated it. Absolutely hated it. So this is about the main character Casey, which fucking annoyed me to no end. She was very annoying, so that was not good. She stays at this house and she has these neighbors and things are happening at the neighbors and she's like trying to find out what the fuck is going on, and then like one of them goes missing and it's like all very like ominous and mysterious. So it sounds like a good premise for a thriller, but Casey was fucking annoying, so I had to deal with that. And then the revelation, guys. This was such a waste of my fucking time. It was so bad. I gave it 1 star and it can go in the trash. Next up, I read during the month of October both Eclipse and Breaking Dawn. Yes, I did it. I finished the entire Twilight series. I had a blast with these books. This was my first time ever reading Twilight, so it was just so good. I think New Moon is my favorite book. And after that, the first one, Twilight, and then I think Eclipse, and then Breaking Dawn. Breaking Dawn got 3 stars because it was definitely my least favorite because it just took way too long. Like, the middle of this book could just be evaporated. Like Jacob's book, the middle, if that didn't exist, it would be like a service to this book because the middle part was just very unnecessary. I did like Eclipse. I gave Eclipse 4 stars. Really enjoyed myself reading these books. And honestly, I was not expecting to have such a good time with these. I know they are problematic. I know they have problems. I know the relationship between Bella and Edward and Jacob all has problems. And you know what happens in the last book with like the whole imprinting situation. It's like, what is happening? But I'm here for it. And I loved it. So, gave Eclipse 4 stars and Breaking Dawn 3 stars. And I had a really good time with these books. Then I ended up reading City of Glass, which is the 3rd book in the Mortal Instruments, and this was my favorite so far in the Mortal Instruments. I kind of want to compare this with Twilight because I had like both really low expectations of these series, and while with Twilight I was like super entertained and I really enjoyed myself, with this I am not. So I'm not gonna continue the Mortal Instruments anymore because I also read Clockwork Angel. So yeah, I read both of these this month, but Clockwork Angel was just not for me at all. I just was so fucking bored throughout this whole thing, and I asked my Patreons if they wanted to continue the Shadow Along I'm doing over there, and the majority said, well, all of them basically said that they would prefer to do something else. And I was not enjoying myself at all with these books, so yeah, I'm giving this one like a 3.5 star because I could see like some really good things in this coming to pop through, but Clary and Jace are just, oh, they annoy me like fucking no tomorrow. It's just really bad. And with this, these characters were not memorable at all. It's just not for me. I gave it a hot reg go. I did. I gave it a hot reg go. And I was kind of determined to continue, but I let the voting decide with the Patreons, and they said they would prefer to do something else. So yeah, then I'm not gonna continue the series. And you know, time is too little and too short to be reading mediocre books. So I think it's for the best. So yeah, I gave it a go with the Shadowhunters. Unfortunately, it's just not my cup of tea, and I won't be continuing this. I gave this 2 stars and this one like a high 3.5 star. Now for the Cliterature book club created by Steph over at Steph Loves, I read Iceland Barbarians. This was also not for me. This was wild. This was absolutely wild. I read this on sprints together with Bobby, and I was absolutely shook to the core. But it was just such a whirlwind. Like, it was way too much of a whirlwind to me. Like, on the first few pages, like, so much is already fucking happening, and I was like, wait, what? Whoa, like, there was no time to adjust to the concept or what the fuck was actually happening. I've been told that the series does get better, and it would be kind of fun to binge them for like a video, but I will do that at the point where I run out of vlog ideas, I think. For now, I'm actually good. I gave this 2 stars, and I will share a link to the live show for this, because we did a live show with both Steph and Bobby and me. Steph cameras didn't work, so it was kind of a podcast version, but I will leave a link nonetheless, and you can see like what we discussed and what we talked about, and what our like full in-depth thoughts of this book was. Yeah, 2 stars. Not really my thing. Now, during Wacky Witches, I actually managed to read 10 books in that week, and oh boy, it was a ride. I had such a variety of ratings as well. So yeah, let's dive in what I read for Wacky Witches readathon. I will leave a link of the vlog down in the description. You can see me reading the books and more my in-depth thoughts on them. It's a really fun vlog. I do a lot of witchy stuff. I go to a witch shop, and it's just like turned out to be a really cute and long vlog. So if you would like to go check that out, it's down below in the description. So I started the readathon off with The Near Witch by V.E. Schwab. You all know that I absolutely love V.E. Schwab. She's my favorite author, and she wrote my favorite book of all time, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I have not read this yet, so this was new for me. It was her debut. I ended up giving this 4 stars. It was not a 5-star swap for me because you could definitely tell it was her debut. I thought it was absolutely fantastic to see how much she progressed with her writing. Like, absolutely chef's kiss. Like, the progressions she's made is absolutely marvelous. I really liked the story. You could tell it was written by Schwab, and I absolutely loved that. It's about this ominous town, and children go missing, and people want to find out what happened to them. And there is this talk about a near witch that used to exist, and it's really, really good. Then I read Witches of Ash and Ruin. This was also a fantastic read. Very, very witchy indeed, with covens that kind of clash with one another. A lot of witchcraft. This is actually queer as well, so that's absolutely fantastic. It has OCD rep in it, so I really enjoyed this. I think this is really underrated because I don't see a lot of people talk about this or pick this up. I really liked this and I flew through it. The audiobook was really good and I gave this 4 stars. Then I read what is now my favorite book of the year, and that is Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. Oh my gosh. Whew! I was absolutely gobsmacked by this. I was so glad that I picked this up because it is so good. Like, I fell in love with Fable already, but this was everything to me. This is me in a book. Like, dark, ominous island vibes, autumnal vibes, witchcraft, a long lost forgotten tea shops which used to do tea leaf readings, a murder, a fire, people returning to the island, mysteries being unraveled, a lot of like old people, older generations that have a lot of secrets they don't want to share with one another. It was so good. I love this. I absolutely love this. So pick this up if you have it, because oh my gosh, it was fantastic and I ate this up. I ate it up. It was so good. Then I read The X-Hex, which was really cute. I thought it would be like a modern witchcraft, which was not. It was actually like full-on fantasy witchcraft, which I really liked. I think I would have liked to see more of that and less of the romantic plot within this, but you know, it is a romance first and a fantasy second, so I get it. It was cute, it was a good palette cleanser. I gave it 3 stars. Then I read Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. I really wanted to read this because like it's such a stable and such like a classic almost within like magical witchy reads. Unfortunately, I did not like this because I don't think that this is fantasy. I think this is literary fiction, which nothing is wrong with that. I was just expecting something entirely else. And I was very disappointed by this. I thought it was really dragging and boring at times. So yeah, this was not really my cup of tea and I was really sad about it. Ended up giving it 2 stars. Next up, I read Threadneedle and I fell head over heels in love with this book. I thought this was absolutely brilliant. I thought this was gonna be like more fantasy magicalness, but it turned out to be way more witchy than I anticipated. And I absolutely loved this so much. This is about a girl called Anna and she makes new friends at school and they kind of start their own coven together, but she has this really wicked aunt that is doing some things that are not okay. I absolutely love this. This was absolutely fantastic. I read it within a day because I was just so obsessed with it. And I loved this. I loved the writing. I loved the witchiness of it, the magic system. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And I think it's really underrated. Like, more people should read this. And I loved it. I loved everything about this. And I actually went to pick up the little novella that goes along with this, and I read that too. This is the little novella that accompanies Threadneedle. It's The Head Witch, and this is following Rowan from the Threadneedle book, and Rowan was my favorite character, so it was like, yes, I need this immediately, and my bookstore had it in stock. So I went to pick it up the next day and I read this also. It's really tiny, super cute, like oh my gosh, it is like adorable. And this is about Rowan and her aunt Winifred, and Winifred is everything I aspire to be in life. Like, let me tell you. Like, all I want is to be this crazy fucking aunt that, you know, you love to go to and love to visit, and she's batshit crazy and she has cats and she does weird stuff, but you love going to her because she's amazing. So yeah, this is everything I aspire to be in my life. So I gave this 4 stars and I just really enjoyed this. Next up I read Divine Witch, which I got purely solely because of the cover. Super beautiful. This is about a vine witch that is set out to like save the vineyards at Chateau Renaud. I liked this in the beginning, but then it got a little bit boring throughout. So it did kind of cave in a little bit for me. Nonetheless, I did really enjoy this and I ended up giving it 3 stars. Then I read Her Majesty's Royal Coven by June Dawson. I've seen this everywhere, so I wanted to pick it up in this witchy week. However, this was not really my cup of tea. It started out so good and had so much potential and I was really enjoying this. And then halfway through the book we have a reveal happening and the story gets stuck in the reveal. And it does not move forward. So yeah, that was a little bit disappointing. In the beginning I was like very certain like this would be like a 4 star and then it dropped to a 3 and now I kind of think it's between a 2 and 3 stars, so 2.5. The ending was interesting though. It sets up really nicely for a sequel. But am I going to continue the series? I don't think so. So unfortunately this was kind of a miss for me. The last book I read for Wacky Witches was The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This was fantastic. This was a hug in a book. It reminded me of the house at Cerulean Sea. It was magnificent. It was everything. It has a school setting with little children who are witches. And this witch is coming to teach them to how to control their powers. But there is like danger luring. This was everything. It was so cute. It has a little romance in it. But it had like enough plot aside from the romance. And the romance was actually adorable. So this was outstanding. Outstanding, so good, 5 out of 5 stars. The perfect ending for the Wacky Witches readathon. And then very lastly, I read the entire Amelia Fang series during Halloween. That's right, I read all 7 books. Gavin got me these for my birthday and I read them all during Halloween and spent the day with the Patreons, which was absolutely lovely. I loved this series. It was so much fun. The audiobooks are fantastic. The really wacky illustrations were fantastic. Amelia and her gang is just everything. The friendships, the adventures they go on together, and it was just so memorable and I just absolutely loved it. I think I gave all the books between 3-4 stars and I think my favorite was actually the last one, and that was The Trouble with Toads. I really loved this one. It was so good. And I think Amelia Fang and the Half Moon Holiday, as well as Amelia and the Naughty Capricorns, those were the weakest 2 for me throughout the series. But the rest was absolutely fantastic, and even those 2 were really fun to read. So I think these are just amazing books, and I think if you have children, these could do so well to read before your children, before they go to bed. They're like spooky, but not too spooky. They're like spoopy, like cute spooky. I had an amazing time reading these. I have a vlog for this as well. No, I've not been editing lately. I need to get that vlog out, but it's coming as soon as possible. So a vlog is coming for these as well, where I spent Halloween together with the Patreons and I read all of these. So yeah, I had the bestest time and you should definitely pick these up. That is it. Those were all the 23 books I read during the month of October. Very successful indeed. Let me know what you have been reading in October. what were your top 3 favorite books during the month of October? I would love to know. Let me know down below in the comments. Alright, that's it for me today. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I am gonna leave you for now. Thank you all so much for your continued support. And I will hopefully see you soon with another video. Bye bye!